I'm here with Sarah Kay, a spoken word poet from New York City. She has just wrapped up her keynote speech here at our annual Expo, and she's been kind enough to sit down with us for a few minutes and chat about her work. Sarah, nice to see you again.
Hello.
So I think, one of the sort of most general questions when people hear you, and I was asked it a number of times after you finished, is what inspires your poetry? What drives the creation of a poem for you?
So I tell people this pretty often, but it continues to be true, and that is that I write poetry whenever I have something that I'm trying to figure out. So if there's something that I'm not understanding, that I can't wrap my head around, that's when I will sit down to write a poem. So actually, poem writing is like a verb, to like poem my way through something is how I feel usually. An easy example is my family. I've been trying to figure my family out since I was born, and so I am often writing about my relationships with various members of my family because it's me trying to understand and see it from different angles.
You find your understanding of a particular issue, like a family or something, shift through the process of writing the poem?
Totally. Sometimes I finish a poem and I look back and I go, oh, that's what I was trying to figure out. And sometimes I finish a poem and I look back and I still haven't gained very much clarity, but at least I have a new poem out of it.
So you spoke here to a few hundred social workers, advocates for the disadvantaged. This is a group of people that work with sort of the most disadvantaged folks in our society. How was preparing for this audience different from some of your other audiences? I mean, your performances are just around the world and across socioeconomic backgrounds. What was particular about this one?
It was actually wonderful. To me, the act of writing a poem, I tell people that the act of writing a poem is an act of celebration. Even if you're writing a sad poem or an angry poem, you are celebrating that emotion or you're celebrating that moment. And so the word to celebrate is something that I carry with me a lot. And so today, especially today with this room of people and the type of work that they do, I was thinking a lot about how can I celebrate them and how can I celebrate that type of advocacy work and how can I let them know that they are appreciated and seen.
This is going to be impossible, but if there was a single central message to your poetry, maybe not within the words of the poem,
okay,
but in the idea that you wanted a listener to take away from it, how would you characterize it if you had to?
This is sort of a similar answer, but I think the reason that I love spoken word poetry so much is that it requires people to slow down and breathe and listen and be in a room together and share space and time in a way that in our busy, very digital lives we don't always make time for. And it's something that I take very seriously and that I'm very grateful for, that there's a room full of people that are willing to listen to me is a big gift that is also a responsibility and an honor. And so the fact that I have all of these people's attention and that they're listening, I think that I am here to entertain first and foremost. I want to put on a good show. I also want to hopefully teach about various topics that they may not know about, to share personal moments that I think are relevant to the room, especially stories of vulnerability that I think sometimes people aren't always used to sharing out loud. I think it's important to make space for vulnerability in public. So those are big ones that I try to share.
Terrific. One of the things that I'm always struck by, we're a software company, so it's very easy for us to get lost in the technical aspects of delivering a software product to people and how they use that product. But over the years in running Foothold, it's just striking to me how hard our customers work and how thankless that task can be. They aren't paid much, the hours are terrible, the victories are few and far between, the population is very challenging in a lot of ways. Do you have any thoughts for how they might stay inspired and motivated in the work that they do?
There's an author who I'm friends with who's named Simon Sinek, and he has a whole theory of business where he talks about the fact that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And when he talks about it, he specifically means, focus on your vision, focus on the reason you do the work, and the product will come later. That's sort of his whole thought process behind it. But for me, when I hear that, when I think about it, I use that to help myself because I think the what and the how of what I'm doing changes very frequently, but the why I am doing something doesn't change. And I think for people who are in difficult challenging work environments that are frustrating and tedious and anything like that, it is very easy to get bogged down by the what and the how and how frustrating that can be. And I think sometimes taking a step back and saying, why am I here and why am I doing this and what is the reason that I wanted to be a part of this in the first place. I think when you can reattach yourself to your why, that helps a lot.
Terrific. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
It was
thank
very
you.
nice having you here.
Thanks.